What's up, sons? Welcome to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. Today, we're going to be talking about, well, obviously the Bellatrix upgrade and Ethereum. And that is because the Bellatrix upgrade is essentially the last upgrade before the merge. And we are definitely looking at a merge time between September 13th and 15th. So it's time to take all your GPUs, send them to me and donate them so you can write them off on your taxes next year. Just kind of one of my ideas that I had. Clearly not financial advice. And as a part of that, we're also going to be talking about, of course, what is a good proof of work mineable coin post-merge, according to, of all people, Charles Hoskinson, who basically created a non-proof of work coin, Cardano, but he has some ideas. Of course, his 2 cents is getting thrown into the mix. DeFi giant Aave is stopping loaning Ethereum ahead of the Ethereum merge, and there is a way you could technically play the merge to get some free money. That's probably always a bad idea if you hear, playing something to get some free money. That's usually not a great idea, but hey, there is that. And then of course, yesterday we talked about it. Poolin was having some liquidity issues, and lo and behold, they have stopped and suspended withdrawals from their wallet. So no surprise there. We told you guys to get your crypto out of Poolin yesterday. Guess what? You should have. If you didn't, well, it is what it is. Let's get into all of that and more right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. And welcome back, everybody. So, first things first, interestingly enough, we have a lot of coin pumps going on. One of the coin pumps that's been happening is Flux. And yesterday, for a brief moment, Flux did break the top 100 on CoinMarketCap. It has since dropped down to 103, but that is a significant event that is going on. We now have potentially 2 proof of work coin, or 3, I guess, if we include Dogecoin, 4 if we include Litecoin. I guess we can include those, of course. Let's say 2 GPU mineable coins within, of course, the top 100. The second being Ethereum Classic, but of course, as we know, that's probably going to end up being ASIC only, just because of the amount of competition with ASICs. So it is good to see this happening. It's going to probably be happening on more and more proof of work coins. We're seeing a lot of them pump. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. This is just more good news for the proof of work GPU scene. And speaking of GPUs, NVIDIA RTX 4080 16GB and the 12GB are rumored to launch at the same time. Now, one of these may be called, of course, the 4080 Ti. That's yet to be seen. The big differences, of course, is the memory size and the memory speed, with the 16GB being a 12-layer PCB, while the 12GB will be a 10-layer PCB. What does this translate into memory speeds for the memory intensive algorithms that you may be mining later on? Well, it means essentially on the 4080 16GB, I believe we should get a 256-bit bus potentially, while on the 12GB you would be getting a 192-bit bus potentially. And this means that you have basically a 736 gigabyte per second speed on the 16 gigabyte, which is still significantly lower than what's available. Not significantly lower, but definitely lower than what's available currently on the RTX 3080. And then on the cut down model, you would only have 552 gigabytes per second, which is a significant cut down compared to the current 3080. And then they are still saying the 4080 Ti will have a separate card with a 320-bit memory bus and 840 gigabytes per second. Why are they doing this? I don't know. You guys, your all's guess is as good as mine as to why they would release a 16 gigabyte and 12 gigabyte variant of the 4080. Other than maybe just trying to get rid of, extra unbinned bad memory parts, potentially. I don't know. It's confusing. It is what it is, though. I'm not a big fan of either one of them from the mining perspective, but that's just me. That's okay, though, because if you are me and you're not a big fan of the 4000 series and Ada Lovelace, you are going to be able to potentially have cheaper GPUs in the 30 series realm. And that is because we are starting to see them hit Chinese markets for $600 US, under $600 US on the RTX 3080 20 gigabyte model. And so that is pretty wild. Obviously, the GPU market is coming down. The Chinese market's the first one to be getting hit pretty hardcore with it. And that is pretty much the story, We've seen tons of cards kind of surrounding Twitter, hitting kind of the cleanup phase and dumping right before the Ethereum merge. So a Chinese retailer has begun selling the MSI variant of the 3080 or 3080 20 gigabyte. There we go. I can say it, which is a dramatic reduction compared to the GPUs from a few years ago, retailing for less than $600. Over the last several years, crypto miners have been utilizing the NVIDIA GPUs for their crypto mining rigs as they were the most efficient or effective GPU to access consistent hash rates compared to other companies' GPUs, with many features locked. However, with Ethereum currency planning to switch to a new format for mining, eliminating the use of NVIDIA GPUs, miners are looking to other currencies or selling their stressed GPUs and rigs for a fraction of the cost to receive a close to their return on investment, or ROI. In an exciting turn of events, some mining farms have full access to the unreleased RTX 3080 20 gigabyte GPU. So these were apparently GPUs that were specifically sold directly to GPU miners that never got out of the bag there. And they're seeing some of them via social media, which should be not be confused with the Russian version we saw last year. So NVIDIA initially discussed with board partners the possibilities of releasing a 10, 12, and 20 gigabyte GPU, as well as light hash rate variants. The 10 and 12 gigabyte models were the only ones to reach the market, so it was safe to assume that no other cards existed. However, NVIDIA never fully confirmed the existence of a 20 gigabyte GPU, so the listing from the China and Russia were all GPUs that the tech community felt were never released and canceled down the line. The photo from the Chinese retailer shows an RTX 3080 20 gigabyte GPU with the standard plugs used for the display connector, which does not assist with crypto mining. It is rumored that the MSI directly sold the GPUs to the miners and not everyday consumers, as the cards could access 97 megahash a second rates, which would determine that NVIDIA enabled the light hash rate block on the GPU. So that's interesting too. But we are looking at basically 97 megahash a second at around 240 watts, as you can see here, which is pretty good. Because I believe on the 3080 12 gigabytes, you were doing like 280 watts at 100 megahash a second, somewhere around there. I wonder if we're able to actually purchase these, though. Hopefully they start hitting stateside at some point. I, keep my hopes up high and my head down low, my hopes up high. Which is basically the way to live life right now in general. But Poolin, one of the largest Bitcoin mining pools, has suspended withdrawals from their wallet service. Now, remember, yesterday we talked about Poolin. We talked about their liquidity issues. They said everything would be fine. Well, I told you I didn't believe them, and you shouldn't believe them either, and I think we have been proven correct here. On Sunday, the mining pool acknowledged having liquidity issues, and then yesterday they went ahead and paused withdrawals. Poolin Wallet, the wallet service of one of the world's biggest Bitcoin mining pools, is suspending all withdrawals as it tries to preserve assets and stabilize liquidity, the firm said on Monday. Poolin Wallet also said it's continuing to explore strategic alternatives with various parties. On Sunday, the firm's CEO and founder Kevin Pan said that Poolin was facing liquidity issues but assured users that assets were safe. Customers have been complaining since at least as far back as August, with withdrawals being slow. Poolin Wallet plans to pause all withdrawals, flash trades, and internal transfers within the Poolin system starting 2 p.m. GMT on Monday in order to preserve assets and stabilize liquidity, said the post on the wallet's official Medium account. A feasible solution will be provided within a week, the post said, echoing Pan's statement that the company would soon come up with a plan to fix the issues. That plan might include debt, according to Pan's post. In a separate post on Poolin's site on Monday, the company announced it was waiving fees for Bitcoin and Ethereum mining until December 7th, starting September 8th, and for 12 months for users with more than 1 Bitcoin or 5 ETH in their pool balance or in a pool account. Oh, that's so terrible, though. They're like, you can have free mining and no fees as long as you have 1 Bitcoin or 5 ETH in your account. Okay, cool. I need 20 grand in there, boys. In a post on Poolin's Chinese language customer support Telegram channel on Sunday, the firm explained that accounts on the mining pool are supported by its wallet service. And I currently am merge mining Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but I am currently merge mining over there with Litecoin and Dogecoin. I will probably be moving off. Now, I've been getting paid out directly to my Dogecoin and Litecoin wallets, so I'm not in a position here where it matters too much. I am still getting my payouts. So, you know, they haven't, like, the pool hasn't necessarily stopped paying out or anything like that. This is purely tied to their wallet service. But should you support a pool that is, you know, basically that has screwed up and has paused withdrawals in general, and that's kind of a tricky situation, because if you continue to support it, in theory, you know, I am giving them fees, which then should maybe help them pay out the users that have the wallets, and therefore I'm kind of helping people out in general, or there's a possibility there, right? But at the same time, should you support a company that's doing the or basically doing this type of thing? And then the answer kind of is like no at the same time. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, as well as the live chat. I might be switching off of that with my Dogecoin miners, though, here soon or shortly. And then we'll kind of go from there. That being said, let's get into it. Let's get into it today. Let's get into Ethereum. Let's talk about it. We have a successful upgrade to Bellatrix, and the merge is just that much closer. Now, Ethereum merge, for the uninitiated, means that you will no longer be able to mine Ethereum with ASICs or GPUs or anything. And this is a big deal because Ethereum's security pricing for miners is very high. They pay the most for security out of everybody except for Bitcoin. And that means that, of course, a ton of revenue is going to get stripped out of the mining scene, essentially. Ethereum's much-awaited Bellatrix upgrade is complete on Tuesday, and the system will move from proof of work to proof of stake. The network-wide Bellatrix transition will set the map for the rest of the upgrades. The merge is expected to go live between September 10th to the 20th. Now, I saw a tweet as well from Mr. Vitalik Buterin that said it was the 13th through the 15th, pretty narrowed down there. Ethereum will switch over to the new method of validating transactions, ushering in a new era in the crypto sphere. The Ethereum merge is divided into a two-step process. The first is the Bellatrix upgrade, which was successfully deployed at the counter towards a TTD threshold, total terminal difficulty, of this number, very large number in the article, in a measure of activity on the network. The next upgrade, Paris, will be initiated, and the technical effects of the switch from proof of stake to proof of work, or I think they mean to reverse that from proof of work to proof of stake, will open. After the Paris is triggered, the merge is only a few days away from being complete. However, the Ethereum Foundation has not given an exact date of the merge. Their latest blog suggests that the transition might be complete anywhere between September 15th to the 20th. Moreover, the merge is the biggest event for the crypto industry this year and is the most anticipated transition. In the new proof-of-stake method, Ethereum will use much less energy consumption, which is 99.95% less, as per the Foundation's estimates. Reports also state that the gas fees will see a reduction post the Ethereum merge, and investors can initiate transactions at a nominal fee. That's not proven yet at all, so I wouldn't believe this one yet. However, we will have to wait and watch after the upgrade goes into fully live and to confirm the gas fees on the network. The crypto industry has received its share of brickbaits for higher energy consumption, or brickbats. Interesting. Share of brickbats. Never heard that term. For high energy consumption, calling it a threat to the environment. Nonetheless, things are changing for the good with energy efficient merge, making it easy to initiate transactions. Of course, they say that, but at the same time, we go back to it's centralized, it's within Amazon data centers. It is also screwed up that if you're big tech, nobody cares that you are completely destroying the environment with your massive data centers, right? But if you're, Joe Schmo trying to run a small colo or trying to run a small mining farm, well, you're the bad guy. But Amazon, no, they're not the bad guy with the massive data centers that suck up a ton of energy and aren't even fully utilized all the time. It's ridiculous. The Ethereum merge is seen as both a technological and environmental advancement that brings confidence into the industry. And that has been, people have said that, but from the prices on Ethereum, that's not necessarily been the case, right? Luckily today, Ethereum is up. The Bellatrix update and upgrade definitely did push the price of Ethereum up. I was expecting Ethereum to be pushed up a lot more from the merge. It's not really seeming to actually play out that people are bullish on Ethereum as much as I would have expected. But the question is for miners, right? Because obviously this is happening. Get over it, right? Like that's kind of the whole thing. Like I got people that are like, well, maybe it'll get delayed again. And I'm like, look, just accept that it's happening. Get ready to move on. It's kind of where we're at. And in an interesting turn of events, we actually have Charles Hoskinson kind of chiming in on two different projects surrounding proof of work. Now, moving after proof of work, what do we got going on, right? We got Ethereum Classic primarily because Ethereum Classic's going to soak up a majority of the ASIC hash rate. And then from there, we got things like Ergo, we got Flux, which we talked about before, and so on. Charles Hoskinson's kind of tuning in on this a little bit, and he did talk about Ethereum Classic, but it wasn't in a good light. But I think you should be aware of this. Now, of course, Maximalist.etc had said no drama, just saying that SHA-3 and also a treasury was rejected, and then Charles Hoskinson wanted to implement a 20% miner tax to milk ETC. But Charles Hoskinson did, quote, retweet this and respond, I love how a sustainable development fund turns it into a miner tax. Ethereum Classic still gives me sadness for what could have been. It's a dead project with no purpose or real compelling argument to exist outside of spite. And that is the general sentiment surrounding Ethereum Classic that I've seen time and time again. And is that true? That's kind of a hard one to see because at the end of the day, there is development going on Ethereum Classic. We have seen an injection of, funds from Antminer essentially, but it does feel like it's basically Bitmain trying to keep the project alive so that their product is viable, right? That's pretty much the only reason why that kind of $10 million injection of funds was sent there. If we look at most of what else is on Ethereum Classic, we do have to be frank that it is a lot of copy pasta of what already is on Ethereum and kind of like the poor man's version, right? Yes, there are positives going on here. What is positive? Ethereum Classic is on a majority of exchanges, right? You're going to have adoption across all of them. That's great. What else is? It's got integration already with MetaMask, right? Great news there. It does have some, it doesn't have as much DeFi, if any DeFi right now, but it does have NFTs. So there is NFT space to take a look at there. It needs some push as far as development for DeFi. At the very least, some more push for it. So there is that. Some of the downsides, though, with Ethereum Classic, it's been attacked so many times that your confirmation times being a miner are very, very high. So your confirmations, on crypto.com, going to take you 3 to 5 days. On something like Coinbase, going to take you 24 to 48 hours. It's not like Ethereum that you deposit it daily, get it cashed out, and then that helps you with taxes. You're going to have to cash it out, 3, basically 2 to 7 days later because of how much it's been attacked in the past. So that's kind of the downside. So if we're actually looking for Charles Hoskinson's opinion, if you guys even care, because it is Cardano, which is essentially not a proof of work coin, but what are his opinions? What is he looking at? Well, it looks like if you're into proof of work, he says, I'd recommend checking out the Ergo Foundation. Ergo is one of the few coins in the proof of work space still innovating and has a great community. So if you guys are looking at getting into proof of work, that's what Charles Hoskinson thinks you should get into. Obviously, he's biased. Why is he biased? Because this is important, right? When you see large figures like this being biased towards a project, well, you need to take into consideration a few things. Charles did work on Ethereum. He was around for the Ethereum Classic split. It's pretty important. On Cardano, who did he work with? Well, he worked with Kushti. Who is Kushti? Kushti's the primary developer of Ergo. So he has a good working relationship with Kushti from Ergo. Does not have a good working relationship with anybody from Ethereum Classic. So that is where that bias comes in. And you should be aware of where that is. Do I agree with him? Yeah, from my perspective, I don't like Ethereum Classic straight from the perspective of I'm a GPU miner, not an ASIC miner. I don't need to throw my ASICs on anything, and I would rather keep the ASICs off of my network. And so if I'm off of the network that I'm going to be mining. So if I look at that, I would want Ergo to succeed over, of course, ETC. I want both to succeed at the end of the day, to be completely frank and open about it. But that being said, if I had to choose one, I would prefer Ergo because I would prefer the ASICs basically getting kicked off the network, in my humble opinion. But that is kind of where we're at as far as what Charles Hoskinson thinks. But that's not always what the reality is. Post-merge reality says it's going to be Ethereum Classic that gets the majority of the hash rate. Now, of course, this is because of ASICs, but Ethereum Classic's hash rate and prices surge as miners prepare for post-merge reality. Futures tracking the tokens logged at $27 million in liquidations in the past 24 hours, second only to Ethereum and ahead of Bitcoin futures. Ethereum Classic has emerged as an unlikely winner. It was going to be a clear winner as long as they left their algorithm to be, basically accept the ASICs after a firmware flash. Ahead of Ethereum's merge, scheduled for later this month, with network metrics surging to lifetime highs and ETC tokens gaining value in mostly a flat market. But this is true across all proof-of-work coins. They're not paying attention. I'm sorry, CoinDesk. You're missing Flux breaking the top 100 on CoinMarketCap. You're missing Ergo cracking $5. You're missing Ravencoin, even a pump today. You're missing the fact that it's proof of work coins are pumping and nothing else is in this bear market, because guess what? At the end of the day, all you guys talking about proof of stake, exposing that proof of work doesn't matter, are full of shit, and you don't know anything, because everything else that's proof of work is pumping in a bear market, while all of your precious proof of stake coins are not. The only other one that's proof of stake that will be proof of stake here in the future is Ethereum. And that's a little bit of a different case because, Well, it's got the hype surrounding it. But let's be honest about what's happening in the market, right? The Ethereum Classic hash rate reached over 48.64 terahash per second as of Tuesday morning, having surged more than 133% since July and overtaking the previous record of 28 terahash a second set in April. A terahash is a unit to indicate the power of a computer or mining machine. A high hash rate is considered an indicator of security because it makes it harder and more costly to take over the network. Ethereum Classic tokens have added 28% in the past 24 hours, rising to as high as $41 in early Asian trading hours before retreating slightly. Futures tracking the token logged $27 million in liquidations in the same period, second only to Ethereum and ahead of Bitcoin futures, which usually have the highest liquidations. Why is this? Well, we've talked about this. There is the problem on Ethereum Classic of selling pressure because the miners that are moving over right now, there are a lot of them in those A10s. What are they doing? Well, they're kind of trying to sell and pay their power bills, which is, in turn, obviously driving that entire market. So it will see more sales and more sales happen. $27 million in liquidations, second only to Ethereum. That is a massive bump from what it was at previously. This is good news at the end of the day, to be clear. So why the sudden growth? Ethereum Classic was formed after the DAO hack in 2016 caused a hard network fork that split the blockchain in two. The original chain continued as Ethereum Classic, while the new one was called Ethereum. Ethereum went on to become the most used blockchain in the world, locking up $110 billion in total value on various applications at its peak in 2021. Growth on Ethereum Classic, on the other hand, remained tepid. Applications based on the chain locked up just over $1 million at the peak, and the network didn't harbor any prominent decentralized finance application despite the sector's outsized growth. ETC prices did jump tenfold during a 2-month period in the 2021 bull market, but that movement came amid a speculative frenzy in the crypto market as opposed to a solid fundamental growth. And to be fair, that was the entire market. Like, Ethereum Classic wasn't special there. That was pretty much the entire market, right? What the bull market failed to ignite is now being catalyzed by the merge instead. And this is really kind of important because, once again, what is the merge showing us right now? The merge is showing us that people do value proof of work coins because the proof of work coins are the only thing pumping in right now a bear market. Nothing else is. The merge, which will shift Ethereum from its current proof-of-work consensus mechanism to a proof-of-stake one, has turned the focus of key network participants back to Ethereum Classic. Developers say the move away from a proof-of-work system will make the network much cheaper and faster and environmentally friendly. And of course, if we are being completely honest, the one that nobody likes to admit is that making it cheaper and faster does what? Compromises the security. You can have cheap, fast, and secure. Pick two, right? And get rid of the security. Boom, you got cheap and fast and insecure. It will also mean that it will also mean the end of an income stream for Ethereum miners who are rewarded with Ether tokens for supplying resources to the blockchain. Post Ethereum merge, the Ethereum proof of work miners will need to mine other coins since Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. A co-founder at the non-fungible token project Snook wrote in a Telegram message, "The options are Ethereum Classic or some new Ethereum fork. The options are not Ethereum Classic and some new Ethereum fork. They're only Ethereum Classic or a new Ethereum fork if you have an Ethereum or an ETH hash ASIC. That's the only reason. Everybody else has the option to move to plenty of other things, such as, including but not limited to Flux, Ravencoin, Ergo, Neoxa, Caspa. List goes on. There's plenty of other options here, right? That's kind of the point. Miners produced over $620 million worth of Ether in July alone, data shows, making a merge akin to a death knell for a significant chunk of cash. Still, it's not a thought. It's not as though, I think is what they mean, Ethereum Classic will be without competition. A group of miners involved in the 2016 fork have floated their interest in forking Ethereum again after the merge, creating ETH POW, a token that would power the proof-of-work Ethereum network. ETH proof-of-work backers include Tron founder Justin Sun and prominent Chinese miner Chandler Go. Sun has pledged more than 1 million ethers to help support and develop the chain. And obviously, like we've talked about before, that one's going to be sketchy. Why is it going to be sketchy? Well, let's go ahead and get into it because, dear Lord, you can play it to get some free money out of it, but it is convoluted as crap. So a group of anonymous developers plan to launch an Ethereum proof-of-work fork after the merge next week. Learn how to ensure to receive your ETHW tokens. So to receive them, there's a whole bunch of steps here. But a coalition of developers and miners plan to fork the Ethereum blockchain after the merge. Doing so will create a new proof-of-work chain that will match users' ETH balances with an equal amount of a new coin called ETHW. ETHW will likely hold some value and can be sold on centralized exchanges that support its trading. There are quite a few exchanges now already supporting this, which is pretty crazy. But be extremely careful here because what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of scams surrounding this. People are going to try to get you to like basically send them the ETH and then you'll get 2 tokens back and all this kind of scammy stuff. I still don't think that during the merge you should keep your Ethereum in like a centralized exchange like Poolin, which will be one that'll technically give you both apparently if you have ETH in their deal. I also don't know the viability of the proof of work chain and if it'll even be a thing, but there are some miners that are planning this. The fork, commonly referred to as ETH proof of work, will share the same transaction history as the main Ethereum network, but start creating its own blocks after the merge update goes live. Because the proof of work fork starts from the Ethereum network's pre-merge state, all token balances of smart contracts will be carried over. This means that everyone holding ETH on chain will end up having an equal balance of ETHW on the forked ETH proof of work chain. ETH work will be native only to the proof of work fork and represent an entirely different asset than the original ETH on Ethereum. Here's the thing about it, right? I'm not necessarily opposed to it as an idea, meaning if they can actually basically have a snapshot of Ethereum and keep it proof of work, and something happens to Ethereum when it moves to proof of stake, there is kind of that backup, that snapshot. We've talked about this in the past of basically kind of the backup for ease of use would be Ethereum Classic. It's the one I think most people would prefer, you know, developers wouldn't use, but having a fully up-to-date one, I think there's an argument for it. However, if Ethereum is completely successful for the move and the transition to proof of stake, ETH proof of work will basically be a dead chain right off the bat. Because why? Well, the developers are going to be on Ethereum. It's not like Ethereum developers with all of their tokens and their Shiba Inus and their Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and all of that are going to go over and start, you know, maintaining the ETH proof of work chain. Basically a copy pasta and it probably won't be further developed. That's the reality of it. However, like I said, there is kind of this nice idea of basically having a snapshot of it in case something happened to Ethereum during the transition and devs then were just like, oh, well, you know, it's still running over here, pop over here and keep going with all of our projects. It's kind of cool to have a backup there. I'm not necessarily against that. Now, that being said, I do not trust the people that are at the helm, right? I don't trust Chandler Go. I don't trust Justin Sun in these to handle this particular transition. So there is that to take into account as well. For many Ethereum believers, the planned proof of work fork is of little interest as an investment. Virtually all DeFi, NFT, and network infrastructure protocols have publicly announced that they will support the proof of stake chain, leaving the proof of work fork in a tough spot. Upon its launch, decentralized exchanges on the fork will likely cease to function, and centralized stablecoins like USDC and USDT will be worthless, right? Because essentially, if you're just copy-pasting it over, there is nothing backing those stablecoins on ETH work, and that's a big deal. That means mass liquidations and many DeFi protocols just being broke right off of the bat. Despite the proof of work fork having to start from square one, there is one token that will likely hold some value, and they're saying that's ETHW. Like the 2016 DAO hack fork that created Ethereum Classic, the proof of work fork could also have some loyal supporters who continue to develop it, creating demand for its token. Conversely, those who don't believe the fork will go anywhere may want to sell their ETHW tokens after the merge to pocket some extra gains. But what's the best way to ensure you receive your ETHW? Which exchanges plan to support the proof of work fork? And they say you can read on. So the centralized exchanges right now that are supposedly going to support this would be Polo, NEX, and they've already listed it. We've talked about it before. Binance, MEXC, Gate.io, and FTX will all support ETH proof of work and also plan to credit users' accounts ETH work at a 1-to-1 ratio for ETH. So however much ETH you have in there, you'll technically get ETHW as well. OKX is also supposed to list and support trading for ETHW, and BitMEX has launched ETH proof of work or Z22, a USDT margin ETH proof of work linear futures contract. Coinbase and Kraken have said they will receive or review an ETH proof of work fork like any other asset and list it for trading if appropriate. I think it'd be smart not to for Coinbase, but we'll see where it goes from here. So those unable or unwilling to deposit their ETH onto one of those exchanges, which I highly advise against, by the way, because frankly, these have ended up, this could put you in a very tight spot if they shut down. We're in the middle of a bear market. Holding majority of your funds within a centralized exchange is not a good idea in a bear market. It's really not a good idea either in a bull market, but in a bull market, there's a lot less likelihood that you're going to get withdrawals and stuff like that shut down. In a bear market, you're pretty much guaranteed that things are going to start, like centralized platforms are going to start dropping like flies. I mean, hell, even Poolin has, right, at this point. So if you're unable to do that, holding ETH in a non-custodial Ethereum wallet guarantees that your address will receive the ETHW on new proof of work fork. So I suppose that means you can just utilize MetaMask. So taking custody, a non-custodial wallet should be the quickest way to access your ETHW after the merge. While users on centralized exchanges may need to wait hours or even days for their ETHW to hit their accounts, taking control of your ETH funds is the surest way to guarantee you will have access to your proof of work fork coins. However, the trade-off is that accessing the new proof of work chain requires some technical knowledge and could expose users to risk. Those taking this approach will need to add the proof of work network to their EVM wallet once it launches. Now, we've talked about this before, guys. We've shown you guys how to add Ethereum Classic to MetaMask. I'll show you guys how to do this if you want. Just let me know in the comment section below and in the chat. If it is a self-custodial wallet and all you're doing is connecting to a proof of work network that is basically a whole other chain and you get the proof of work tokens, you might as well take them for free. I don't see any negativity towards that. Take what you can. I still don't think you keep them in centralized exchanges. I think that you go this route, if anything. So, it's going to be simple. We've done this before with, Polygon. We've done this before with Ethereum Classic. It's just adding the ETH proof of work chain's name, the RPC URL, and the chain ID. And that's pretty much all it's going to take you to get that done. The process is relatively simple, like they say, similar to adding RPCs for Ethereum compatible chains like Polygon or Avalanche. Another consideration for those planning to self-custody their ETH ahead of the merge is consolidation. If your ETH is locked in a smart contract sitting on a layer 2 chain or staked through a protocol like Lido, it won't be matched with ETHW on the proof of work chain. To maximize the amount of ETH work you receive, it's a good idea to convert your assets into normal ETH and hold it in your wallet into the lead up into the merge. Now, this is interesting because what it's doing is incentivizing people to pull their Ethereum out of different layer 2 solutions prior to the merge. And it is technically kind of, free money to a certain extent. I wonder how many people it's going to influence to do this, right? And if we're going to see liquidity issues on some of these layer 2 DeFi solutions, right? Like, are we going to see liquidity issues on things like Aave, things like Uniswap, all that sort of stuff, things with ST-ETH, right? So because the point is you have to have all of your ETH on the mainnet to get it. Since all the tokens on the fork chain except ETHW will almost certainly be worthless, using decentralized exchanges is out of the question. Those wanting to cash out will still need to wait for centralized exchange to open ETHW deposits, which of course Poolin already has. So there's that. To ensure you're prepared, consider setting up accounts on the various exchanges that will support ETHW in advance. That way, those who want to can transfer over their ETHW at the earliest opportunity, potentially selling it for a higher price. Finally, it is essential to understand the risks associated with the merge and any new proof-of-work forks. One frequently mentioned danger is that if an Ethereum fork launches with the same chain ID as the main proof-of-stake chain, transactions could get relayed. This is where transactions signed on a fork chain could be validated on Ethereum's main proof-of-stake chain, allowing for new scams and potentially drain user wallets. While such scams are possible, it is doubtful that the proof-of-work fork will launch with the same chain ID. However, unscrupulous individuals may try to launch other forks designed to steal users' proof-of-stake ETH. Be careful before signing transactions on any ETH fork. If in doubt, don't do anything. It's better to miss out on a few $100s than lose your entire stack of ETH. The latest estimates project that the merge will occur between September 13th and 14th. If you're planning to send ETH to a centralized exchange or your own wallet, make sure you do so well ahead of time. Most exchanges plan to halt Ethereum transactions a few hours before the merge to ensure no user funds are lost. So don't leave things to the last minute. Whether you're sticking to exchanges or planning to self-custody your ETH, double check everything before sending transactions and stay safe. So what is happening? It does sound like there will be a fork to Ethereum to me. And it does sound like you're going to potentially get a one-to-one release of whatever ETH you're holding within, MetaMask or one of these exchanges. Or if you're just directly self-custodying, I shouldn't just say MetaMask, and you'll be able to connect and just see that one-to-one drop. Will it be worth much? More than likely no, already, as we've seen the, ETHW that's on Poolin is down to like $18 per ETHW. Now, of course, that isn't the real chain, and seeing that there is a ton of Ethereum already tied up in staking, etc., all of that won't be duplicated over to the new chain. So what do I mean by that, right? Like, as you can see, if the Ethereum is not real Ethereum, like Ethereum on the mainnet, the real ETH token, it's not generating anything additional, right? So if you have a wrapped version, whoever is kind of supporting that wrapped version on a layer 2 is the one that's going to get the one-to-one drop of that. So you would need to convert it to real ETH. But, there is still all of the locked up ETH that is in staking. And the question is like, if that gets duplicated, are those people that are staking even going to bother taking that out and actually selling it on an exchange? And if they do, how much further does it really tank it? I'm surprised that it seems to be getting actually done. I didn't expect it to actually get done in the first place, which is why, I was kind of very cautious around going and purchasing that on the Poolin exchange, because there isn't an actual chain backing it up. Still, there's not an actual chain backing it up, so I still wouldn't recommend purchasing it. But it sounds to me like it is more likely than I had initially anticipated for ETHW to become a thing. Like I said, once again, it's kind of interesting to have an actual snapshot backup of Ethereum before the move to proof of stake in case something happens to Ethereum on proof of stake. That being said, other than that, I don't think any development's going to move over with it, which means you just have a dead chain with a bunch of dead and unbacked tokens, and that's kind of a problem. Now, we did talk about this ahead of the merge. A whole bunch of different services are going to be pausing Ethereum services. And one is going to be Aave. The DeFi giant Aave is going to stop loaning Ethereum ahead of the Ethereum merge. So you need to be careful. The Aave community is worried that users may increasingly borrow Ether ahead of the merge, exposing the protocol to liquidity issues and injecting volatility into Lido's staked Ethereum market. Aave, a big decentralized lending protocol, invoked new rules to protect itself from several risks that could stem from a surge in borrowing demand for Ethereum from crypto traders betting on Ethereum's blockchain's upcoming technological overhaul. Now, why is this important and why do these two things relate? Well, if you actually dig into what people are saying around the ETH work drop, basically the one-to-one drop, and you start to see what they're encouraging. They are encouraging people to take Ethereum loans out on platforms like Aave, hold it in their wallet so they get the one-to-one, pay the loan back after the merge, and then get the additional tokens of ETH and go sell those on Poolin. This is a strategy that's being advertised everywhere right now, and it does mean that you do end up possibly having, some services being compromised like Aave. So I'm not saying this is directly why Aave made this decision, but there is obviously potential here for it being directly related. Between August 30th and September 2nd, the Aave community overwhelmingly voted to stop loaning Ethereum or Ether, setting aside democratized finance's free market principle to mitigate protocol-wide risks that may arise from Ethereum's upcoming transition from the proof-of-work consensus mechanism to the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. Dubbed the merge, the upgrade is slated to happen between September 13th and 15th. Ahead of the merge, the Aave protocol faces the risk of high utilization in the Ethereum market. Temporarily pausing ETH borrowing will mitigate the risk of high utilization, the proposal highlighted by research firm Block Analytica said. The utilization rate refers to the percentage of the pool loaned out. The rate will likely rise as users could borrow ETH before the merge to receive free money for the potential Ethereum fork token ETH proof of work. So yes, that's exactly what they're worried about. Some Ethereum miners are contesting the planned transition to proof of stake and looking to split the chain into a proof of stake and proof of work chain. The latter will have an ETH proof of work as its native token, which will be distributed to ETH holders for free. According to Ian Unsworth, a researcher at Binance.us, users are borrowing ETH from lending protocols, specifically Aave. If the trend continues, the already elevated utilization rate of over 70% could jump to 100% as CoinGecko's Bobby Ong anticipates. A spike in the utilization rate would mean most Ethereum most ETH has been loaned out, leaving little for liquidations as collateral to process regular liquidations of ETH borrow-based positions. High utilization interferes with liquidation transactions, thus increasing the chances of insolvency for the protocol, Block Analytica said in the proposal. While calling the borrowing suspension a good move, Ian Solat, a partner at crypto hedge fund Tagus Capital, said the part of the problem is that if markets become very volatile and ETH borrowers need to be liquidated, there may be a scarcity of ETH due to high utilization, making it harder for liquidations to go through effectively. Liquidations are forced closure of positions due to a decline in the value of the collateral. Aave describes liquidations as a process that occurs when a borrower's health factor goes below 1 due to their collateral collateral value not covering their loan and debt value. The bump in utilization rate could lift Ether borrowing rates to levels where the popular ETH and staked ETH recursive borrowing positions on Aave become unprofitable. That in turn could lead to the mass unwinding of positions, injecting volatility into the ST ETH market. In recursive trades, users deposit ETH into liquid staking protocol Lido in return for their staked Ethereum token, which is then deposited as collateral on Aave to borrow more ETH. This borrowed ETH is again moved to Lido for more ST ETH, which is again deposited as collateral on Aave to borrow ETH. The cycle continues. This leveraged position analogs to carry trading losses appeal once appeal once the ETH borrowing rates rise above the annualized staking rewards, currently at 3.9% on Lido. Once the ETH borrow rate reaches 5%, which happens shortly after 70% utilization rate, the ETH positions start becoming unprofitable. Risk research and analysis team Block Analytica said in the Aave ETH proof of work risk mitigation plan published last month. This means that we would see a lot of STETH to ETH redemptions and in turn a downward push on the STETH price, which will already be under pressure due to regular STETH holders switching to ETH to gain upside on ETH proof of work fork. All of this can lead to a downward price in the spiral of STETH, which can create cascading liquidations at Aave, Block Analytica added. The largest ETH borrower and two second largest ETH borrowers on Aave have STETH as collateral. According to data between Binance.US Unsworth, at press time, more than $900 million worth of STETH is locked on Aave as collateral for borrowing ETH. Aave also faces the risk of wrapped Ether, WETH, liquidity providers withdrawing coins to position for a potential Ethereum fork token ETH proof of work. And this is what I was talking about. See, Aave isn't going to be in trouble because Aave is dependent on the liquidity providers, but the liquidity providers will not get their ETH proof of work tokens if they are currently wrapped. So they have to unwrap the ETH, which means that they pull out of liquidity. And if they pull out of liquidity, Aave is in trouble because they aren't able to actually do the swaps that are needed. Some community members are unsure whether suspending ETH borrowing would help address the potential problem or not. So there you go, guys. This is turning out to be a super interesting time within Ethereum, and we're going to have to sit back, relax, chill, and sip our coffees and see what happens because obviously I do not know what's about to happen, but it's about to be pretty exciting, I'm pretty sure. And it's all going to surround Ethereum, right? And then eventually we'll start to see our nice little proof of work coins pump up. Let's talk about mining profitability right after a word from today's sponsor. Thanks everybody for being here. We almost cracked 400 concurrent viewers. I guess I just got to clickbait you and then talk about crypto, huh? Is that all we got to do? Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. All right, and welcome back, everybody. So the mining profitability is up due to, of course, the price of Ethereum being up, which is really all that matters. As far as the amount of ETH, we're still at 4.5 gigahash, and we are still getting about 0.06 ETH, right? It ranges between 0.06 and 0.065 ETH. You know, that's putting us at $104 US for yesterday, a projected 107 for tomorrow at 4.5 gigahash. I am mining other stuff. It's all solo. I can't really show you guys because it's all solo node blocks, but basically I am solo mining some Caspa and stuff like that. But in Ergo, right? But I'm actually not mining Ergo solo right now because I had to rebuild my node. Long story behind that. Anyways, let's get into what to mine and calculate that out with the corrected hash rates on ZIL Hash, POW, ProgPow, and Firo proof of work for an RTX 3090 at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Ethereum in first at $291 a day in revenue and $214 a day after power. Ravencoin $258 a day in revenue and $1.79 a day after power. We got Cero at $246 a day in revenue and $1.66 a day after power. And Firo at $244 a day in revenue and $1.70 a day after power. Flux is coming in at $2.29 a day in revenue and $1.59 a day after power. And Neoxa is at $2.23 a day in revenue and $1.44 a day after power. We have Conflux at $2.16 a day in revenue and $1.37 a day after power. And Ergo at $1.90 a day in revenue and $1.27 a day after power. We have to scroll down for Ethereum Classic, which is in last place, but showing some really healthy bumps in the revenue. And that is at $1.71 a day in revenue and 94 cents a day after power, which is actually a lot better than where it was at, right? We were looking at like 50 cents a day after power per 100 mega hash, and that was getting pretty rough. Almost back over $1 a day. Obviously, we're talking about the selling pressure being a problem on Ethereum Classic, but it's looking like somehow Ethereum Classic is handling it with $27 million in liquidations like we talked about earlier, which is absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and take a look at the networks. We're expecting this summer-winter thing to start panning out, but not quite. We actually went down in hash rate from 250 exahash a second to 238 exahash a second. Now, it did get much hotter, right? The sun is out, sun is shining, and the rigs ain't running. And you can actually see that happening here. It cooled down, and it was like, oh no, it's getting hot again. Unfortunately, Texas is still hot in September. Some people are hitting record highs across the state, well, across the nation, just the whole entire area. It's got to cool down a little bit more. I expect this to start coming back up, in October, essentially. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's at 890 terahash a second. I'm not sure what's going on with Hivon, but Hivon's API has now gone down twice, which is really interesting. Which means it probably went down on Ethereum Classic as well. Yep, Hivon went down twice now. Wonder why their API is going down twice now. Ethereum Classic's at all-time high, 50.9 terahash a second. But a respective increase in price, right? Past 7 days, a 21% increase. We are over $40 a day. Oh my God. Back when I said swapping all my Ethereum to Ethereum Classic a couple weeks ago. Boy, am I glad I did that. Not financial advice, and it's too late for you. It's not too late. All of these proof of work coins are going to be pumping, right? So, just at least until the merge. Not financial advice. Ravencoin was another one that pumped, right? Up 36% to 4 cents. The hash rate is also increasing as well. It's up to 3.42 terahash. Neoxa was catching up, of course, too, but it came back down. It's at 1.39 terahash. But remember, back in the day, this thing was sitting around, just like less than a week ago, we were sitting at like gigahash, right? Half a terahash, maybe. And now we're well over a terahash on Neoxa. Miners are starting to disperse. It's pretty incredible. Let's take a look at Flux. Flux is at 2.55 mega solutions a second. All of these proof of work coins, what are we seeing? Increase in price, increase in hash rate. Increase in price, increase in hash rate. What are we seeing here? What are we seeing? What's the rest of coin market cap look like? Right? Are the proof of work coins pumping this much? Are they? No, they're not. It's actually pretty incredible. We're seeing some pump ups, but nothing like what we're seeing with proof of work coins. So is the theory true? Are we starting to see it pan out? This is exciting. This is what we've been waiting for. Never knew the answer. We never knew the answer for sure. But do miners directly influence the price of a coin? It's starting to kind of feel like it maybe does. Starting to kind of look like it does. That means what for Ethereum once it moves proof of stake? getting real interesting out here. Ergo up 56%, breaking $5. I sold some Ergo for $4.99 yesterday, and I'm kind of regretting it, but you know, it's fine. I added some liquidity to trade Ogre. I took a hit to support the network. That's fine. Look at that. 26.2 terahash a second and a 56% increase in price. There's not a one now. You know, we were waiting on Ravencoin to get a pump, and guess what? Ravencoin got a pump. It's simply insane. Yes, sir. Every single top proof of work mineable coin is pumping, and it's pumping way more, 20 to 50% more than any other proof of stake coin currently available. And people still want to try to tell you that miners don't influence the market. And guess what? It's looking like they're wrong. Interesting. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the exciting time. We get to see exactly how this plays out. I think your ASICs aren't looking as good though, right? Kadeena's not looking as good. Let's take a look. Antminer E9 at 57.49. We got the Antminer L7. Yeah, not looking as good. Down below $20. 17.86. ASIC's not looking as good. Interesting. Why is that though? Well, they're already been stuck on these coins. Right? There's no price discovery because the ASICs that are out for them have already been out for them, right? There's no reason for them to pump. They're not getting added security by Ethereum merging, because guess what? A Kadena miner has only ever mined Kadena and only ever will mine Kadena. It has no impact on whether or not Ethereum moves. The only reason Ethereum moving to proof of stake has an impact on all these coins is because the miners that are mining them can move to other coins. It's the only reason. So everything else here is pretty much shit. It doesn't matter. ASICs can't move anywhere. If you could, like I said, a Kadena miner only ever mined Kadena and only ever will mine Kadena. The KD6 is at $7.39 a day. Absolutely abysmal considering that thing cost $60,000 last year or less than a year ago. The S19 Pro is finally matching $3 a day again, but that selling pressure and the competition within the Bitcoin mining scene is rough and rowdy, my boys. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about my Ergo NFT that I created, just because I wanted to create one. We did it live on twitch.tv/blindrud, where we stream every day. You can go check me out over there. But ta-da, we added the profile picture, the SOT rocket picture over here. And if you guys want to go bid on it, feel free. Yes, I set the buyout at a ridiculously high price just because I wanted people to bid on it. It is technically at 6.9 ERG, which is perfect. But of course, if you want to bid 69 ERG or 690 ERG or 420 ERG or 1337 ERG, feel free. Go with the memes. You know, I'm just doing it to kind of experiment. I want to take this a little bit further. I was looking at something else too, but it's up there. You can go mint it and throw it in your wallet. It's kind of cool. I just kind of trying to learn more and more about how to mint and do all that on Ergo. I've done it on Ethereum before. I think I want to get more in depth though than just running it through, you know, minting on Ergo Auction House. But if you guys want to know how to mint on Ergo Auction House or anything like that, let me know and we can get that covered. Let's get into questions and answers. Remember, super chats are never required. Always appreciated. I did want to swap that up. I forgot. Today I was going to say super chats are never appreciated, always required. But I missed it. I was going to just roll like directly into that. First to be answered because they're the easiest to read, right? Following up on that, tagging at Son of a Tech will highlight the message orange and basically, or not orange, but yeah, it'll highlight my name orange. We're going to end this poll. Basically, more of you play WoW than any of the other games we listed. D2 27%, LOL 24%, and Rust 19%. It was really interesting that not more crypto miners are playing Rust because, you know, Neoxa has that play to earn stuff going on. But don't worry, I feel you. I'm not a big fan of Rust either. So that's why I haven't been playing it. A Stakes, thanks for the 200 SEK, says, what is Aurora DeFi? Have you heard of it? No, I haven't. I have a friend earning massively on this Ponzi's stuff on Binance. Don't trust it. Heard it's fake mining. Whereas the risk, how enough for a stake this time? $20. All right. I don't know about Aurora. No, not necessarily. I haven't heard of it. Argo, the Argonian. Argo, the Argonian. At Son of a Tech. Did you see the Get Block plus Flux partnership? Yeah, we talked about that. That was a while ago. Feel like, unless something new happened, but yes, we've already talked about that. DM Mining says, that Son of a Tech, isn't Ergo Mixer like Tornado Cash? No comment. Black Wolves Crypto says, Ask Son of a Tech, thoughts on keeping ETH in ZIL Core for the merge? Well, if it, you know, I don't know that it's going to be, so ZIL Core would have to add support for the ETH network. So if your plan is to hold Ethereum and then be able to redeem the ETH work coin or token, you're going to need it in a wallet that can connect to that network. And ZIL Core is pretty locked down. It's not like MetaMask where you can go in and connect to the network. So I would, if you're wanting to get that additional token, you'd want to send it to something like MetaMask, right? Blackwell's Crypto said, or already got that. Patrick says, Ask Son of a Tech, no Duke Nukem or Doom, terrible game list. Oh, you're a Duke Nukem and Doom fan. I know, the game list was just for fun. I was actually asking it because of the Twitch. My Twitch list says that most of y'all, that's what you guys watch on Twitch, are the ones I listed. Jeff Christ says, Ask Son of a Tech, is it worth spending money to move to Octominer chassis instead of purchasing more cards and just running them in open rigs if heat and space aren't an issue? If heat and space aren't an issue, I don't see why you need Octominers. Ahmed Haradi says, Ask Son of a Tech, should I sell my Ergo and buy new GPUs? Like 3060 Ti, I have no electricity bill. No electricity bill is nice. You know, it's up to you. I think that we will be seeing GPU prices come down. I can't guarantee that. It's not financial advice. But I do assume that we will see GPU prices come down. These $600 30, 80, 20 gigabytes, like we're sitting kind of waiting to see if those start making their way over from China, right? Jason Crane says, Ask Son of a Tech, Raven Hive OS pool just launched. No fees for the remainder of 2022. Yeah, I mean, all of these pools are doing it. So what are pools doing right now? They're flipping out, boys. They are flipping the out because they are losing their revenue generation, right? All of them, almost all of them, I can't think of one that hasn't reached out to me at this point and said, hey, will you do ads for our pool? Also, just so you know, we have 0% fees through September, or through the end of 2022. This is basically the, you know, what is happening with all of the mining pools. It is kind of hilarious that a lot of these Ethereum mining pools are just now adding in things like Ravencoin, etc., Ergo, whatever else. They're way behind the 8 ball. You know, I think that there are already established pools. They had their day in the sun. You know, Hivon, I think, I want Hivon to succeed. Let me be clear there. But, you know, at the same time, if we look at like, I don't know, we look at like Ethereum. It's like the same pools have been in control of Ethereum for forever, right? Ethermine, F2 pool, Hivon in third, Poolin, and two miners in fifth. It's kind of nice to go to something like Ergo, or not Ergon, Ergo, and see some different stuff up here. Well, now it doesn't even matter. Nanopool in first, two miners in second. Fucking Nanopool. Hero miners in third, but you do have hero miners popping up there, right? Get block is all the way down in seventh. Get block, the only pool with smart pools. It's absolute. That's simply insane. Simply insane. Make sure you tag at Son of a Tech so I can read what's going down. What time is it? It is time to wrap this up here shortly. Srinivas says, ask Son of a Tech, what is a smart pool? Oh. Smart pool is basically a pool that allows you to mine other assets on top of the whatever chain you're mining. So if you're mining Ergo, you have the ability to mine essentially other assets that are built on top of Ergo. If Ethereum would have done it, for example, it could have been like you mining in a decentralized manner, right? Using a decentralized exchange, a DEX. You would be able to mine Ethereum but get paid out in Shiba Inu with none of the fees, right? So that's kind of the idea. Ahmed says, Ask Son of a Tech, that's simply insane, those articles, though. Happy Guy, what do you think about the new ZRO token? It claims that it eliminates gas fees. How would that affect miners? I'm not sure how they pulled that off. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, if you eliminate gas fees, then how are you paying to secure the network unless you just constantly have a block reward? But I don't know what the ZRO token is. Texas Ace says, Ask Son of a Tech, have we gotten a statement from Ergo that they will change the algo when ASICs are detected? Thus far, I've not been able to find anything along those lines. In the interview, it didn't seem like something that phased Kushti at all. That being said, and you can go watch the interview and get it straight from his mouth. Okay, that's what I'll put it at. But we've done an interview with him and we asked that question. Black Wolves Crypto, thanks for the $5 super chat sticker. Boosting that algorithm. Crypto or Die, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I would love to see a video of a full right A2000 versus full RTX 3070 rig for efficiency on the whole rig, since A2000s don't need power other than a riser. Yeah, I mean, the A2000s are still kind of dumb expensive and there's better purchases than them, right? When was the interview? I'll get the link for you, but don't worry, I'll Google it for you, all right? Let me Google that for you. There you go, Ace. Here, we'll do it this way. There we go. Someone tried to schedule a one-on-one for... Hold on, we'll take a look. Jason says, Ask Son of a Tech, thoughts on long-term plans for Neoxa? Roblox, Minecraft, in-game purchasing. In-game purchasing will drive the price of Neoxa up. I think that needs to be enabled kind of first and foremost, right? And then I think maybe keeping Neoxa around a penny is probably going to be ideal for that kind of setup. But I think the in-game economy is going to affect exactly how profitable and at what price Neoxa is, right? But I also do think that it'll bring a lot of legal ramifications along with it. Matthew Smith says, "Ask Son of a Tech, any advice on how to exhaust heat through a tiny window in my mining room? Get a really powerful fan." Texas Ace says, "Ask Son of a Tech, thanks." Yes, sir. I Googled it for you. Rad says, "Ask Son of a Tech, Quake Champions for the win." Quake Champions? That's a weird one to pick out of all the Quakes. Why not Quake Live? Rick Allen says, "Ask Son of a Tech, Gigabyte GeForce RTX 3060 gaming overclock 12 gigabytes are running for $400 right now. I think that's a good buy purely for gaming. RTX 3080s are now going for $600 in China, and that's only indicative of what it will end up being over here stateside. So, $600 for a 3080 versus $400 for a 3060, probably not a good price on a 3060 right now. No. At least get a 3060 Ti or a 3070 for that price. XRP the GOAT says, "Ask Son of a Tech, how much gigahash are you running on solo Erg at the moment?" None right now because I'm rebuilding the node. I'm running like 11 or 12 giga. Well, actually, maybe more than that. Maybe more like 16 or 17 gigahash a second on Caspa. Caspa. My node up and died on me the other day. It's 11:11. Everybody make a wish, and thanks for hanging out today. Be sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells down below. Best day we've had in a long time. Also, we are not feeling quite well all the way today, but we will be streaming once again, probably most of the day over on Twitch at https://twitch.tv/blindrun. So if you guys have not followed over there, it's a lot more chill and laid back. You can ask a lot more questions because there are not as many people. And I get a lot more rowdy over there. A little less family friendly, so be a little careful. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you.